Hello everybody, Mike, aka the Magico13, here with episode 11 of the Out of This World series. I know that I said that we would be done with the BOP Science and Gas Station, but there's just one more thing I want to do, and that is actually go visit the dead Space Kraken. So we have Bill here, I do believe, and we're just going to fly over there, check it out, plant a flag, and then that'll be it for BOP for a little while. I'm kind of disappointed in the amount of science that we've gotten from here, so what I want to do is go to the moon. The biomes available on the moon will make it so that we can get a ton of science, assuming we can just go down there, land, transmit some science, reset everything, and just visit a bunch of different biomes. So I've got a two-stage kind of thing that I want to do for that, where we've got an orbiter and a lander. The lander goes down, flies back up to the orbiter. The orbiter will have a lab module, so you can reset everything. I might transmit things, I might just keep them all and return everything. It's close enough that returning shouldn't be too bad. I think it's only like 1,000 meters per second of delta V, so it's not too bad. I think you can actually get it down to about 850 or 900 meters per second, and then with an aero capture at Kerbin, that'd be pretty easy. Although trying to send something that's normally designed to be in orbit through the atmosphere may not be a good idea. So we are approaching the Space Kraken now. Just going to try to land right on it and not fly by it. I'm fairly certain it's a solid thing. I don't think we've interacted with it at all yet. I don't know if we've interacted with any anomalies. Perhaps when we get hypersonic jet stuff, we will go visit KSC2, but I don't want to do that with the super slow planes that can only go like 300 meters per second. Yes, it is solid. Okay. Let's take a surface sample. I'm really disappointed that this is not like a special biome or anything. It'd be really fun if anomalies, like taking surface samples and EVA reports from them, was actually worth something different. But oh well. Maybe in the final version of the game. So, site name, Dead Space Kraken, right? Dead Kraken, okay. Bill found it, and he wanted to keep it as a pet, but it was already dead. And knowing Bill, he probably would have killed it, even if it wasn't. So that's it for the bot base for now. We are going to switch over to this. This is the moon. This is actually just the orbiter. I can't point right now, but pretty much everything above the top of those solid rocket boosters is just the orbiter. Those engines, that triple stack thing of engines, will actually be the ones for the transfer and for doing the capture burn and all of that. This style of lander is one that I use a lot, I think. Not lander, launcher. Pretty much anything above 5 tons sort of needs this 3x symmetry launcher. If I had a quad... what is it called? A quad coupler. We could do 4x symmetry, get even more fuel and more power in, maybe make it a little shorter then, because one issue I have with this is if the payload is 20 tons or whatever, and all the boosters have been dropped, we just have this super long, really top-heavy thing that likes to try to flip over. It's one of the reasons that I don't tend to start my gravity turn until a little later with these. By a little later, I mean like sometimes it's 12,000 instead of 10,000. Ideally, you should be turning over constantly, but I don't really do that. And this is still using the super old version of KCT because I hadn't taken over at this point, so we don't have any booster recovery, so I'm just going to let those despawn and get destroyed. I'm curious if we were going to actually start a gravity turn so early or not, but I think I'm probably just going to start exactly at 10. We've got liquid fuel boosters on the outside now. Can't tell what rockets they're using. Could be stock ones. And then more likely then there are larger ones in the center. The fuel is going from the outer boosters into the center ones. So when we drop those, that whole center stage thing will be full of fuel, which will be convenient. So now it's basically just a standard launch profile. Not sure if you guys really like these or not. You can see the full launches. Or at the very least I can speed them up. This video is going to have 2 of them, I think. Yeah, because we're going to send this up and then we are going to send up the lander. And I don't think I keep the other launch. Is there another launch? I don't think there's actually another launch. This is going to be a multi-step process. We're doing a little bit of orbital construction. Because I think I already decoupled the nose cone, which is now just stuck. So yeah, we've got the orbiter, we've got the lander. We also have to do a crew transfer and a refueling thing, just to make sure everything is topped off and we have enough fuel for when we actually arrive at the moon. Because if we can't actually get captured, then we're going to get trapped in space for a very long time. This orbiter is very similar in design to the BOP science base, just that in the way that I've got the life support set up and a bunch of solar panels, I think with 4x symmetry. And this also has enough life support for 200 days full to people crew. I think it's like 500 Kerbal days. We've got a Kethane converter as well, because we need to... The lander will have a Kethane miner, but not a converter. It will bring the Kethane back up to this, and then it will convert the Kethane, refuel itself. Oh, there we go, now we've done that, and it's just kind of attached to us, so oh well. That'll fall off eventually. The Kethane will be converted into liquid fuel, which will refill this, and will refuel the lander. And then we can theoretically, as long as we land on Kethane deposits, or have an excess amount of fuel, we can land anywhere. Ideally, Kethane deposits, because then we can always refuel. And you can see the whole network now. I need to do a little bit of adjustments to this at some point in time, because later on we're going to start having enough drift that it's almost an issue. Not quite, but almost. One of the satellites starts catching up to the other one, which is kind of annoying. We've still got fuel in this. We are 2.5 minutes away from apoapsis. This is actually not too bad of a launch. And that's only 200 meters per second. We've only got 100 in this, so we should be able to do this with... We will have to stage, but oh well. So yeah, let's just execute the planned maneuver. It's only a 10-second burn. It'll actually be less than that, I think. I don't remember. I think we might have Vestas. No, we don't have the Vestas yet, do we? Yeah, we have not unlocked the super efficient rockets, which is kind of disappointing. So these are still using somewhat inefficient rocket engines. Our periapsis is actually above, but we still need to do a little bit more burning. just to raise that eventually. Yeah, there we go. Just burning to raise our periapsis up to 82. And that is pretty circular. 400 meters per second different. Or not meters per second, 400 meters different. I'll go with that. So now we are going to send up Dunzer Kerman in the lander. The center stack is... There's a Kethane thing, Kethane tank, and I think a fuel tank there. A single little... I don't remember what it's called. One of the little tiny engines, not the LV909, the smaller one. The 48-7S or something like that. So now we're just waiting for this to climb up over the horizon, and then we throttle up, and I've already got all of the displays set, so we should be good. It looks like my video and my audio is slightly out of sync again. That's really annoying. I'm just going to live with it, and I'll probably just base everything on the audio. So we are now just launching. I mean, standard launch. We are at about a kilometer. We've got these 3 liquid fuel engines on the side, I want to say. Maybe... No, those 4 are all synced. Never mind. I thought 2 or 3 of them were changing slightly differently from the other ones. But yeah, we've got 4 liquid fuel boosters, which have fins on them. There's KSC there through the camera. I've got a camera pointed down just to watch these boosters. That's actually not the reason for it. The camera is pointed down for landing, because we have to do our landings IBA. We didn't get to actually try that last time, and when we first landed on Hop, we didn't have cameras, which cameras would have probably been really helpful there because we had issues with slope, and I don't think this display set actually has a slope indicator, which is really kind of sad, because it was kind of handy. So yeah, we have a camera pointed down for landing, to make sure we can like kind of see our landing point and see how close we are. And then we've got another camera pointed up for docking, and we're using the station science docking ports, which are really heavy and don't allow fuel transfer. So to do all the fuel transfer, we will be using Kerbal attachment system, but slightly differently from how we were doing it with the station. Instead of using the winches, we're going to actually use the pipes. And we're also going to use some EVA struts in order to attach this to the station thing. So we've just staged according to the sound, and now we've staged according to the video. So that's the delay I'm dealing with here. Hopefully it catches up when this clip is done in a couple minutes. So we're basically just turning over, and we are at 55 kilometers now. No, that's our altitude. Our altitude's only around 41. Ideally, I should be turning over a little more, because our time to apoapsis is about a minute and is increasing. You want to keep that around 40 seconds or so, from what I've heard. I don't actually know the best way of launching, so don't necessarily take it from me, but if you keep that around 40 seconds, that gives you enough room that it's alright. If it is increasing, then you need to turn over more. If it's decreasing, you need to go more vertical. You don't want to just waste a bunch of vertical, but you don't also want to just turn over right away. On an airless world, you actually do want to turn over as quickly as possible because it's more efficient. I don't know if that necessarily has to do exactly with the Oberth effect or not, though the Oberth effect might come into play there. It's mostly, I think, just because you're going to be going sideways the only reason you go straight up on a world that has air or some sort of atmosphere is because you want to get out of the atmosphere as quickly as possible, but you also want to get that sideways motion so you can get into orbit. So I think this is going to have to do the final bit of circularization using the fuel in the actual lander, because the lander is fully fueled right now. I suppose if I hadn't done that, it probably would have been able to do the circularization, but oh well. In fact, it's almost better that we use the lander, because then we don't have this giant fuel tank sitting out the back. And also, this will hopefully, we will run out with this, and then, yeah, now we are definitely using the lander, and that will collide into Kerbin. Hopefully it'll actually get burned up in the atmosphere, but honestly, deadly reentry has not been all that deadly. We also haven't come into the atmosphere going like 6 kilometers per second. That would be deadly. Most of the things we've been doing fairly correct. So, yeah, don't go straight down into the atmosphere at 6 kilometers per second. That will kill you with deadly reentry. That won't kill you with stock. You'll get G-forces of like 30 G, which would kill you in real life, and your ship would theoretically heat up ridiculously. But in stock, that's totally fine. I don't know how well that would work with Ferram Aerospace, though. Depending on how streamlined you are, you might still just be going stupidly fast. So yeah, we're doing our final circularization with the little engine, which this is going to be so annoying when we actually go to take off from the moon. That engine is... I kind of hate the sound of it. It's too high-pitched. So I'm going to actually skip the whole getting an intercept, and I'm just going to jump straight to when we're about to dock. It's like 5 minutes total, but I want to save some of that. So here we are about to actually do the docking. We have the front-facing camera. We have the docking port alignment tool, which I'm awful at using. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at using that. Probably not in this video, but eventually I do. We also have RCS, which is convenient. I don't know how much we have. I don't have the resources tab open. I think we actually just hit the station. Oh well. And we are now almost docked. Maybe. Maybe. Turn SAS off. And we're still not docked. We are like on the docking port, and it's still... There we go. No, wait, hang on. We didn't actually dock. The magnetism between these is not that great. Although I actually am getting it aligned properly, according to the alignment tool. Like, there's something to angle the rotation of the ship to get it right. Okay, we are docked, but this is just shaking, like, crazily. I need to turn the flight computer off. I think there's a little bit of fighting going on. I probably shouldn't have used a tiny life support container between the docking port and the top, and also there's a battery there. So that's kind of a design flaw. But once we attach these pipes and do the struts, we should be okay. Speaking of which, let's take Dunzer Kerman and let's connect these pipes. Which luckily we can do it from the ladder, at least from here. Can we reach this one? Yes! We can do this all on the ladder. Awesome. So now you're getting a good view of the lander. Yeah, there's a Kethane tank just under the capsule. There's a materials science bay under that. There's 2 fuel tanks on the side. And then those route into the engine, which is just in the center. This has a thrust-to-weight ratio of above 1 when filled with Kethane. I simulated that by looking at what the wet mass of the tank was and just adding something that had about the same mass. I think it's like 10 tons. I don't remember exactly. This was a while ago. You'll notice there's a docking port between the life support and the science module. The reason for that is I'm hoping to attach this science module to the station when we get back. Unfortunately, that I don't think is actually going to happen because we're going to hopefully have real docking ports by then, and I would much rather use those. And honestly, the science capsule is very light. It's 3 tons as opposed to the station science stuff. But this is all we're going to do for this episode. We've got this basically done. We just need to transfer some crew, and that'll be it. I'm Mike, aka the Magico13. Thank you all for watching.